Hi YouTube, my name is Yusuf and you are watching a new episode of my news channel. Today we are the 25th of January, Monday, and there isn't going much in space. Let's take a look, let's dig into it. So there is an impact today of solar wind from this CME, which was predicted for today, and it is right on time. Let's take a look. So we can see it happened around midnight. The actual impact started a bit slow, but as you can see, by now we are seeing almost the full effect of the impact. The density is rather low, but the speed is increasing, and I don't think this is going to go any higher than 500-600 kilometers a second, which is a decent amount of speed for solar wind. Temperature wise, there isn't much increase, so this is a moderate impact. However, the BZ is tilting south, and this means there is a chance of higher auroral activity. So let's check that out. Let's look at the aurora forecast. And as you can see, there is a decent amount of auroral activity already taking place in the North Pole and the South Pole as well. So this is because the BZ component is negative, and that means that the solar wind is oriented towards the poles, and it actually enters. The energy enters, and this is what creates the auroral activity. So other than that, I must say there's not much going on aside from these sunspots, but they are not really active. There are two sunspots that have the alpha denomination, sunspots 2797 and 2799. So they don't have any complexity and thus will not produce any significant flare. As you can see, there's a little bit of activity, but I don't expect much of these sunspots. When you see, for example, I think the classification is alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and the higher it goes, the more complex the sunspots. Delta being the ones that produces the highest flaring activity, like M flares, X flares, and such. But when it's alpha, it means basically this is not going to go any higher than B, or maybe a little bit of C flares. So not much flaring activity. KP index is low, and I don't think this is going to go any higher. There is, of course, the impact, but as you can see, for the time being, it's not much going on really. Let's go to the next items. I thought since there wasn't going much in space to check actually the space calendar. And yesterday, for example, Mercury was at greatest eastern elongation, and 3 days from now, I believe it's Thursday, yes, 28th Thursday, we will have a full moon. So if you like watching of taking pictures of full moons, there you have it. But don't stare at the moon if you are a werewolf. Ooh, because you know this is not the best of ideas. So, yes, before we end the space weather section, I want to show something, and this is going to happen the 19th of February next month. So this is actually SimSolar, a very small program that shows the planets of our solar system. And let me just zoom that in a little bit. This is not the zoom, this is not the zoom either. Yeah, I just installed it, so reinstalled it because they deleted it when I brought in my laptop. Come on, there has to be a way. Oh yes, this way. Well, anyway, it's almost full screen. What I wanted to show is that on this date, the 19th, there's going to be a very interesting alignment. You see, you can almost draw a line from Earth to Jupiter and then Saturn to Pluto. And this, in my opinion, has the possibility to increase solar activity. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But it is rather interesting, because you don't see this often very much. Today, I believe, let's see, let's just go back a little bit. Yeah, enter a date. Oh yes, this is of today. And today is not much going on. This may be an alignment over here, but yes, Earth opposes Jupiter, but really the most interesting part is the 19th, as you can see, because then Earth, Mercury, Sun, Venus, Jupiter will almost be aligned at the same time as Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto. So this is actually a combination of two alignments, and I do believe this is actually interesting to look out for. So, before I end this video, I want to show something. Yesterday I talked about, I issued a warning, an earthquake warning, and I want to show why. So this is the earthquake map of today. And as I already mentioned, there was a lot of activity on this side of the Ring of Fire, but strangely enough, not on the US side. And this is the region that's the most concerning, because this is actually a hazard region, so very active and dangerous, geologically a very, very dangerous region when it comes to earthquakes, and yet there are no significant quakes in California, and this is worrisome. There are, however, swarms, and I will show you earthquake swarms, ongoing earthquake swarms in this particular region over here. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yes. Well, there are actually several clusters. And if I have to guess where the next big one will happen, it's either gonna be here, somewhere. But let me just put this on terrain. Straight. To get the names. Why isn't this one showing? Oh yeah, because not. Well, anyway, the reason why I showed this is because when there is no major activity and you can see it clearly, let's take for example 7 days, all magnitudes, and then zoom out, then you see a whole lot of quakes on this side and even a little bit on the south, but nothing here. And this means pressure is building up. And at some point there will be a big one. And it's either going to be in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, or in this part I believe it's, let's see, actually the region of concern is California in its whole, but I would say the biggest danger lies in San Francisco. This is well known. This is a dangerous fault line, and in Los Angeles. Also because this is the most populated area of California. And thus, if let's say 7 magnitude or 8 magnitude happens over in these cities, it's going to level wherever it happens, everything. And this means people are going to die. So if you live in either in Los Angeles, in the region of Los Angeles or San Francisco, make sure you have an earthquake plan. Make sure you make preparations, that you're always prepared, because geology is not an exact science, and even if there is solar activity is actually only the trigger of earthquakes. That's why they happen along fault lines, but an earthquake can happen anytime, even when there is not solar activity. The trigger could be sustained rain, volcanic activity, anything. Earthquake somewhere else in the world. Do not forget, if there is a major earthquake here, it can trigger other earthquakes on this side. And this is what I wanted to outline. There is a lot of activity on this side of the Ring of Fire, but nothing here. This means sooner or later there will happen an earthquake. And I can't tell you when exactly, but when it happens, there is something I can't tell you. It's going to be devastated, because it's going to happen in a geologically dangerous area, a very dangerous area. And that's going to be either an 8 magnitude or a 9 magnitude quake, which is going to destroy everything when it happens. Let's hope it doesn't, but we have to be honest and realistic. At some point it will happen. Oh yeah, there was something else I want to show. See, this is more clearly as a vision, because I can here choose. So you see, these are all 4 magnitude quakes, and as I go higher, they are lesser and lesser. And you see, this is what I want to outline. Major quakes here, this means pressure is released. Major quakes here. Nothing here. Nothing there. So even if nothing happens on this side of the world, of the Ring of Fire, I mean, if a big quake happens over here in western part of Russia or Japan, it will trigger, it has the potential to trigger this fault line. So these are overdue, essentially. As you can see, there has to be at some point major earthquakes on this side of the planet. And whether it will be triggered by space weather or not, this I cannot tell you. Usually when there is a geomagnetic storm, the chances are very high of quakes to happen. But like I said, it's not an exact science. It can happen at any time. And I'm almost 100% certain that when it happens, and now I'm going to let all the earthquakes see. So we know there is movement, there is pressure building up. We know that most quakes happen in other parts of the Ring of Fire, except in this region there is nothing. This is very dangerous situation. So this is the end. I just wanted to outline this in detail, because yesterday I did it rather quickly. And this brings us to the end of this video and our quote of the day. And by the way, I want to apologize for the previous video. I forgot to include a quote, and I promised to do it on each video. So today we are discussing the 3rd quote of my list, and it goes something like this. Are you not ashamed of caring so much of making money and for fame and prestige, when you neither think nor care about wisdom and truth and the improvement of your soul? This is especially true for all the people in Wall Street and the elite and the leaders of the world. So, are you not ashamed of making money instead of taking care of your soul? and caring about wisdom. For us, this is not really meaningful because most of us have just about enough to meet the end of the month with our humble jobs. But for the people who do have, who are in position to make a lot of money, this quote is of meaning. So instead of just thinking about money once in a while, leaders of the world, think about wisdom and how to improve your soul and the whole world at the same time. This is it, people. The end of this video. Hope you like what you watched. If you do, press the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And I guess I see you next time. Be safe, everyone.